Hello class. So let's start with our chapter 3 from history, Nazism and the rise of Hitler. Hitler is a person who is well known. Each and everyone knows about Hitler, right? So here in this chapter, we are going to learn what is Nazism, Nazi party, how has Hitler, how he rose, how he has become what we say a person who is controlling the whole Germany, right? How he has started treating Jewish people, how he started making concentration camps, how those people, Jewish people, they were sent to concentration camp, how they were punished, even small children, everything we are going to learn in this chapter. So, the topics which we are going to cover in this chapter are as follows. Birth of the Weimar Republic, Treaty of Versailles, the effects of the war, political radicalism and economic crisis, the years of depression, effects of Weimar Republic, Hitler's rise to power, the destruction of democracy, police courts, and all this contents reconstruction, Nazi worldview, racial utopia, youth in Nazi Germany, Nazi cult of motherhood, art of propaganda, crimes against humanity, knowledge about the Holocaust. Everything we are going to learn in this chapter. It's a quite lengthy chapter, you can see in your textbook also. Right? But if you learn it, concentrate in it, it is very easy. Okay. So now let's begin with the introduction. Here in this lesson, it explains the rise of Hitler and his art of propaganda. How he has treated Jewish people. What were the rules and regulations? What was Nazi party? And the areas on which he concentrated to make Germany a world power. Right? So all these things we are going to learn. Now let's start with our first topic, birth of the Weimar Republic. Now here, what is Weimar Republic? Germany fought the First World War 1914-1918 along with the Austrian Empire and against the Allies. Allies means England, France and Russia together. So Germany had a First World War with Allies along with Austrian Empire. Now in this war, Germany initially made gains. Okay, how? By occupying France and Belgium. In the First World War, Germany initially made gains by occupying France and Belgium. But then, Allies, what did they do? They won defeating Germany and the Central Powers in 1918. Initially, when the World War began, Germany made their gains. But then, Allies won by defeating Germany and the Central Powers in 1918. Okay. Then you can see here in this picture the Allied forces in green color and the Central Powers. So the Allied forces, what did they do? They have won defeating Germany and Central Powers. You can see Central Powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, Belgium, Ottoman Empire. These were the Central Powers. This is a map which I have taken from your textbook itself. It is showing the expansion of Nazi power in 1943. How the Nazi power started expanding in the year 1943. The defeat of Imperial Germany gave an opportunity to parliamentary parties to recast German politics. Now what happened? As the defeat of Imperial Germany has happened, Now it has given an opportunity to the parliamentary party to recast the German polity, to recast it. So now what happened is Weimar was a place where the National Assembly took place, and then they established a democratic constitution with a federal structure. You know what is democratic constitution? Democratic constitution means the rules and regulations according to a democracy country. According to a democratic country, National Assembly, they made a constitution. The republic, however, was not received well by its own people because of the term its forced terms. That means when the National Assembly they met at Weimar and when they established a democratic constitution with a federal structure, that was known as Weimar Republic because it was they met the National Assembly at Weimar. So they gave the name to this democratic constitution as Weimar Republic. But this Weimar Republic that was not accepted, that was not received by the people because they felt whatever the terms and conditions are written in that constitution, they were like forced terms. They were not, the people were not willing for those terms. Now, Treaty of Versailles. Germany lost its overseas colonies, a tenth of its population, 13% of its territory, where everything was taken by allies. Okay, 75% of Germany's iron, 26% of coal to France, Poland, Denmark, and Lithuania. They had to give them. So, to weaken its power, the Allied powers demilitarized Germany. Now, to weaken more, what did they do? They demilitarized the Germany to the Allied powers. So again, I'm saying in 1914, when Germany started gaining, but at the end of 1918, Allies won the First World War. Now, what did they do? They wanted to make a proper democratic constitution, and the National Assembly met at Weimar Republic. But now the Weimar Republic was not accepted by the people whole and solely. So what did they find that it was forced terms. Now in Treaty of Versailles, what happened is that whatever the allies, whatever they had taken, the central powers and all, now they started weakening Germany more and more. They started taking their resources, they started taking their overseas colonies, population, and they made Germany demilitarized. No police, no military, nothing. They don't have anything to fight against the allies. That was what was done by the allies. Now, the war guilt cause forced Germany to pay compensation amounting to 6 million pounds. That means when the war started in 1940, whatever the loss that happened to the allies, what did they do? They made Germany forced to pay the compensation of 6 billion pounds because of whatever destruction has happened during the First World War. The resource-rich Rhineland was occupied by the Allied armies for much of the 1920s. Whatever the proper resources, whatever the good resources Germany had, for example, they have given a rich Rhineland, that was also occupied by the Allies for much of the 1920s. Now, the effects of the war. The war had a devastating impact on the entire continent, both psychologically and both financially. That means when the war happened, whenever the war is happening, it is for sure that there is going to be all type of financial problem and psychological problem going to be faced by each and every country who is taking part in the war. So now here, as Germany has taken part in the war, whatever the effects after losing it, what happened is it was having a devastating impact on the entire continent, psychologically also and financially also. From being a creditor, Europe became a debtor. It was a creditor, but now it has become a debtor. And the supporters of the Weimar Republic were criticized. Whoever were supporting the Weimar Republic all those of them were criticized because as the people considered that Weimar Republic was giving forced terms to the people and they were not ready to accept it. So those who were supporting the Weimar Republic, they were criticized by the normal public. Now, soldiers came to be placed above civilians. Aggressive war propaganda and national honor became important. The fragile democracy could not survive and led to instability in Europe. Now, when they have already lost the war, all these problems were going on. So, according to that, the soldiers, as we know, that Germany was demilitarized. So, what happened? The soldiers they came to be placed above the civilians. That means they were placed on top, they can take any decisions, they were given powers, and then aggressive war propaganda and national honor, they became more important instead of any type of what they say, peace, harmony, nothing. Only aggressive war propaganda was there. And the fragile democracy could not survive. Whatever the democracy was going on, that could not survive. And because of this, instability was there in Europe. So political radicalism and economic crisis. Now when the war has taken place, demilitarization has happened, all sorts of problems are there. And of course economic crisis is also going to take place. Because when we are doing any type of war, when a country is included in war, they are going to face problems in their economic development. So economic crisis was there, the production of crops was not there properly, food scarcity was there, the market activities was getting less and less. So it was creating crisis. The birth of the Weimar Republic and the Spanish plague went hand in hand, and the Spartans founded the Communist Party of Germany. Now here, when the birth of Weimar Republic took place, with that only the Spartist League also took place. And what did the Spartists do? They founded the Communist Party of Germany. They were the people who have who have done the establishment of the Communist Party in Germany. Now, here as economic crisis is also the birth of Weimar and Republican Spartist League started happening together. So when they started finding Communist Party in Germany, Germany started facing lots of problems. Okay, now what is Spartist actually? Spartist uprising is also known as the January uprisings. That means it was a general strike. Okay, Spartist uprising means it was a general strike and armed battles were also accompanying the strike. It was not that it was a peaceful strike. Armed battles was also there and mainly where has it taken place? It has taken place in Berlin and from 5th January to 12th January 1919 there was Spartist uprising and during that movement the Communist Party was also found there by the Spartists. The political instability in Germany paved the way for Hitler. Now, when Germany was facing this problem, who took the chance was Hitler. He found that now Germany will need me and I will take the throne of Germany. I will be the head of Germany and then I am going to rule as an emperor over here and he decided to expand Germany. So this was a backup plan he had in his mind that because of all type of political instability, Hitler is going to get his position. Hitler now because earlier what happened if we are not having any position, we will be not able to take any type of step, right? So now when we are seeing that political instability is there, then can't I start a political party? Can't I become the emperor? Can't I become a person who is controlling Germany? Right? So actually, Adolf Hitler, his his path began in Germany in September 1919 because in 1919 only the problems in Germany was taking place in a big matter, in a words matter. Political radicalization was heightened by the economic crisis of 1923. Whatever the problems was going on, along with that, because of the economic crisis in 1923, there became more problem. Germany had to pay war reparations in gold, which led to depletion of gold reserve. Germany released to pay. First of all, what happened is they had to pay all type of pay war because Allied has asked them to do so. Now, when they have to pay, and already the resources were taken, therefore iron mills and everything was taken, population was taken, colonies were taken. So already they had lots of loss. Now they also had to pay for war reparations and in gold, which is going to, what will happen then? Their gold reserve will go down. So what happened? Germany refused to pay the war reparations and France occupied its leading industrial area, Rome. What happened is, first they were asked to pay, so the Germany refused to pay the war reparations. Now what did the France, Allied power, what did France do? They occupied its leading industrial area in Rome. The leading industrial area of gold was occupied by France. And Germany retaliated with printing paper currency recklessly. When these all things were happening, what will Germany do? Because there is no political stability, right? So, if the Allied people, if the Allied power is doing like this, of course they have to take some kind of action against them. Otherwise, what will happen? Germany will be in total, whatever they have had reserves and all, everything will go in total the destruction, right? So Germany retaliated with printing paper currency recklessly. What is the meaning of retaliated? That means make an attack in return for a similar attack. When anybody attacks you, you make an attack in return for a similar attack is known as retaliation. So Germany retaliated with printing paper currency recklessly. That means currency were printed recklessly. So when currency will be getting printed recklessly, what will happen? There is again going to be a problem of the value of money going down. So that was happening, that was done by Germany because they didn't have any other way of attacking to the Allied parts, whatever they were doing, right? Now, from the next thing, that is the value of the mark collapsed because they were printing the papers recklessly. So of course the value has to be collapsed. Prices of goods soared. There was hyperinflation. That means there were lots and lots of problems people were facing because of all these problems happening between the Germany and the Allied parts. Okay, they were asking for repayment from the Germany, asking their gold mines. They were not ready to give. They started printing currency recklessly. Because of that, the value went down. The price of goods started getting decreasing, increasing, and all type of fluctuation was happening. And there came the cause of, and this became the cause of hyperinflation. Now, what is the meaning of hyperinflation? When you hear the word hyper, that means more than a limit. It has went above. That is hyper. Okay, when it's very high and typical accelerating inflation. That means quickly the real value of the local currency erodes, and as the prices of all goods increases, this causes people to minimize their holdings in that currency as they usually switch to more stable foreign currencies, often the US dollar. That means it quickly erodes the real value of local currency. And what happens is the prices of all goods increases. And because of that, there is hyperinflation happening. Okay, those people who are getting more and more money, what is they are having money, so they can buy any kind of things. The prices increasing, but the poor people and the middle people who are not having any kind of what we say increase in money, what will happen? They are going to face problems in getting the goods, right? So the years of depression. What happened to the people? How did the years of depression came? That we will be learning in the next class. Okay. So thank you. Have a nice day.